end up
Right.
going over the roadway,
Right,
bingo.
Yeah.
So we had them always do 3 feet.
gotcha.
But
I
we
just,
did,
the Van Brunt was, which was concerned with this, I don't wanna make you do anything, I don't know if that's
remember we
somebody's
were gonna
property.
do something with, to try and, I'm pretty sure you were involved in it somewhere. We were talking about having, some way of determining the line based upon Google Maps and not pulling out everybody's deeds. And then there was a.
I can look
You
at
done that?
Yeah, we have some records, I think I can look into that. It's also, you can go on Suffolk County GIS, the GIS portal, and that has a lot of that information.
Doesn't a line of Poquott, isn't that shown at, right at the end of the,
I thought it was the
Paving?
center line, I didn't, it's not the center, I thought it was the center line thing from.
yeah, so did I, but I think it says,
But we'll check
right
and
at the
see.
end of the paving, but no further. So then it would be a different,
I
It'd
think
be
it
Brookhaven.
goes, I think it goes past, the northern part of Van Brunt, I think it goes past, it goes west of the paving.
yeah.
But I'll check on a map and see.
Normally we have Brookhaven handle everything from 25A down to the intersection of Shore and Van Brunt. Because of the traffic on Shore and all the other streets there. And we take from Shore up the other side.
Again, we don't know, and also, we wanna do this village-wide. I mean, it's the problem we had, determining whose trees we need to cut down, and, you know, it's this ongoing time. We can't-
So you don't have a hard
Right, so
time
we started
finding
to
parking markers.
Well, that's what.
Right, so we started that, we had that discussion about a year ago, and we started to look into it, and it's still being worked on. Basically, it's an enormous project.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I spoke to Mike and we went through everything on the contract, and, as far as like, there's 2 intervals in between, this will count as a second, I guess, and then there'll be the 4th one. So he was on, he just pretty much updated me what he does, what's expected of it, and I went through stuff and, just went through what's expected of him, and he had no problem there, he was pretty much on point with everything, so.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, at this point now, you can just check it
Yep.
every 6 weeks or
Yep.
so, and just text him, he's really good, he'll send
Yep.
somebody out, so. Okay, number 12, it's not Walnut Chestnut, it's Sharon Highview. So today, Mike and I went through all the bids, and most of, well, all of them, right?
Mhm.
Thought that we're not including ripping up the road in order to pave it. So anyone that bid the stone, the Belgian block, or thought the road was gonna be ripped up. So I'm proposing that we rebid them for September, and we make it clear the road's gotta either get ripped up, or whether it's just gonna, what's gonna happen is the person who's doing the Belgian block, it was cheaper, not they thinking the road was already gonna be up. Now that everyone that we spoke to today found out that the block, you're gonna have to rip up the road, the price went up. So we have to rebid it, so we'll do that in September, okay?
We should reject the bids.
Okay, so do you wanna we'll do a resolution for that? I have resolution to, schedule the public bids for September, but we can also,
First, you need to
Okay.
reject the bids.
that's good, cause I left 4 on and we don't need that anymore. Oh, I saw too, you know what, 4D, they did, lot 13, they cleaned it out.
Mhm.
Okay, so there's like only 3 trees in there, 3 bushes.
Okay.
What did you and Angie decide, are you gonna keep them or are you gonna?
Yeah, I spoke to her as far as putting weed block down, so that hey, it doesn't get back, and,
Okay. Are you gonna plant that plot,
Yeah.
or are you gonna have Mike take it out?
I'd like to plant it, and if
Okay.
it looks, like you said, if it's not maintained, then just rip it out, but
Okay.
I think it adds something to the park, just stuff, like you said, do what he was gonna do, and if we could salvage
No,
it.
oh, it looks, there's just 3 bushes there now.
Yeah. I spoke to Angie about it, and we'll look at some stuff as far as what we wanna put there, if it's gonna be like a perennial, or if it's gonna be a seasonal thing, that's something we haven't really decided yet.
Okay,
Or I just put it past her, I said, she's got a good eye for it, so I said, we both agreed that it's just something I want to see ripped out. It's a garden,
Which is this one?
It's number 13.
I didn't even know it was a plot, I didn't even know it was a plot 13.
It wasn't until last year, someone
Okay.
just took it.
Okay, it's just, it's right when you make the curve and you go past the pine tree, in between the path
We
and the
come around the
tennis court.
corner with, right behind the tennis court,
It's a
there was a
little bit
wooded
of a
block
tie.
there.
And it's just, it was just weeds and it's
You're not talking
probably.
about the original rose garden?
I don't know if it was
Is
a
that- I
rose
think
garden,
maybe
now
right.
it was a weed garden.
It's a standalone plot behind,
Yeah,
between the
between
path
the
and
path
the tennis court.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was a
That's
rose
Rose
garden.
Gardens.
Right?
And,
Not anymore.
yeah, well, roses are, you have to maintain them, that's the problem. If you put something in there that's not gonna be tended to, it's just gonna be part of the park, we have to figure out something that would.
The bushes look like they could be azaleas, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think there's one azalea there.
There's areas that are great there.
Mhm.
They don't
Yeah, I mean, we
have
could,
tennis.
there's a lot of things we could put there, but to have something that flowers at least, I think it's like a park, but
Right.
something.
I mean, roses, I mean, they're gonna come back in the fall, they'll come back, you know, it's,
They're subject
So you-
to blight and fungus
Right,
and
well,
shingles.
like I said, we do it perennially, just do shrubs, I mean, I think it'd be something nice then just to cut it, to
Yeah,
take it
yeah.
out and put grass in it.
And Hurricane Tree Service, did we talk to them about fixing the grass?
I did when they get back, didn't get back to me about it.
Okay.
I don't know what they're gonna do, if they're gonna put dirt in there or. if
Well, they
they're
have to
gonna-
level it out, because their
Right.
trucks, what they did is they make
Yeah.
grooves and the sprinklers are just right in it,
Okay.
so.
Yeah,
um,
from the water you said.
If they just flatten it out and put grass seeds, should be fine,
Okay.
okay. Okay, Jeff, village codes? I don't know how many you got to, these are just ones that we
Well, I
had
mean,
discussed and we said we
obviously-
should start working on, so.
Yeah, well, you know, the problem is that we have to, I don't feel that I can just sit down and write a policy when we haven't really all decided, and that's kind of informally what we were just doing before the meeting started. Is to come to a consensus about what we want. I mean, just on that alone, I think that I could hammer out something on 57, especially borrowing from
Well, I think
Brookhaven, but-
maybe a good idea would be to have a special meeting just for these three codes plus the code he's working on, come with a draft, come with our ideas, and then we can schedule public input and go from there. How about that?
All right, well, I was reluctant to do that for the open burning, because that hearing that I had was, to me, was a disaster, that everybody wanted something different.
Well, we can start with a working meeting and see what we get from it, okay?
All right. But I mean, I'm gonna write something up, and the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna float it by you, Frank, and we'll see if we can, if it's enforceable, and then how we would do that. The real issue for open burning is, do we want to have open burning because it's part of what?
Mhm.
Because we can, it's very easy to say under what circumstances. And if we agree on that, and if we agree that we, like we did before, that there is something specifically written about smoke conditions and being cognizant of the neighbors and whatever, and you guys are very willing and able to enforce it, then it's easy to do that.
Okay.
The one on unsafe buildings,
Mhm.
I don't remember, were we talking about the permitting?
No, we were talking about the concerns that we don't need to get board approval in order for them to show cause.
Yeah, okay, I know what I want to write on that, but I
Okay.
haven't intended to, I'll put, that's relatively straightforward. The zoning, 183, there was a stormwater thing.
Issue,
I've
yeah.
been talking about that for a long while, and
Mhm.
I even spoke to Rich, you know, one of the, so he's got something he wants to put in. So we're not really redoing 183, it's identifying specific sections that we need to rewrite, or in some cases just
Right.
tweak a couple of words. So I have stormwater, which I'm not gonna do, he said Rich is gonna do that.
No, he's gonna do that.
183.18, which is permits,
Mhm.
which I think I did, and I told you I did find a copy that I could put out there, so
Okay.
however you wanna
Okay,
move
so
forward on that,
You could either send the draft, you could send it to the village, to the board to start looking at, and then we can do a working meeting. I can send an email and see what dates people can do.
That's already done.
Okay. Now yours is a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, I just have it.
Oh, you have more, okay.
Because 183 is a big section.
Yeah,
So 183.14F is bluffs.
okay,
And there are a couple of little tweaks to that I want to
put on there,
You
okay.
know, even if it's one word, it still has to go through the whole process. 183, 14G, piers.
Mm-hmm,
I'm aware that there were some issues when we're talking about the inspection and the criteria or whatever, which I think should be in there,
right.
but I'm not involved in that whole process, so I can't write anything until I know what, I don't know whether or not you want to have a meeting with the planning board.
I'm just wondering if we should even just take that out, and you'd be better to know this, and add the dock inspections to 64. Docks and walks, right?
Yeah.
You
I
have
would
a,
think
you
so.
have a inspection list, or, you know, a checklist or something?
No,
Nothing
we
in
didn't get
writing.
that far yet.
See,
We
the
just-
issue, the reason I'm raising it is because it's the same issue with building permits. And that has been, as you're well aware. If we say you need a building permit for X, Y, and Z, I feel it should be in the code. The code is available to any resident online, and they know whether or not they need a building permit. The way it is right now, it's not specified, and then just when you came in, we put it on the back of the building permit application, so it's
Well, it's on the
somewhere.
website, yeah.
But it's not in the code, and the code says this is what you have to do. So I believe it should be in the code, and that's why I want to, and that's essentially what I did, but I added, because just, we were talking about a couple of different things that should go into the permitting process if you're doing construction. And yet, you and I have had many discussions about, I feel that not every construction requires a building permit, reconstruction, or like a re-roofing or something like that. It could be a big deal. That's what I talked about when your neighbor did, it was a big deal, 4 trucks. But it shouldn't have a permit, a building permit. So to eliminate all of that, we should have it in the code. So getting back to the piers, there's a section on piers. Well, but we don't have anything to really put into it if we're gonna be saying that piers have to meet certain criteria.
Well, I think it should really be though with docks and wharfs, and we should move it up. to
Well, they
64.
use the two words synonymously,
Okay,
piers and,
Right, docks and walls and
Yeah.
piers, right.
so, anyway, long story short, I haven't done anything on it, and I guess this would be the time for us to say, okay, here's the roadmap, here's how we're gonna proceed, and I'll be happy to write whatever, but, or we could just take it out. But my understanding was that you wanted us to redo 183.
yes.
So 183 is all of these things.
But for that one section for the piers, I feel, and we can discuss this if everyone else can have input in too, that we should put that where we have the docks and the wharfs. We should take this section
Oh,
out.
all right.
Okay.
But again, it's easy to just put it into a different section.
Well, we have
but
to redo
You
it.
have to redo it.
Right.
And then, so that's where we are.
Mhm.
Right. Well, the problem with what we're trying to do is that every pier or dock that went up went under a different permitting aspect.
Mhm.
So they all have different rules and regulations because, you know, pre-existing, we're not gonna enforce the new rules on them as long as it's.
All right.
a-
So they're
existing
grandfathered
dock.
in.
They're grandfathered in.
All right, so then that really is irrelevant. What we need to do is to say, all
For
right,
now.
this is, and we can borrow, I'm sure somebody somewhere has, you know, minimum requirements for a sick
Well,
dock.
Roger pretty much knows, he's worked with Brookhaven and the inspector, and they went through all the things that they need to know, and we discussed the directions that we should go, but it's not in writing because we were waiting to get information on the permits. So he could help you throw it together if you really need it right away.
We don't need it right away, but it's time to start working on.
Yeah,
Mhm.
well, I'll contact Roger
Yeah.
and see if we can do that. But in the meantime, if you're pushing the inspections, how, I mean, it's like cart before the horse.
Well, we were supposed to be working on this month after month after month, but we weren't meeting, we weren't getting a plan together where it was gonna go. And I didn't even know that that was in the 183, so you just said it now. We thought there was gonna be a separate thing that we were gonna add into docks and
Well, once we
wharfs.
get an idea of what's gonna be in it, we can place it wherever we want.
Okay,
We can, you know.
right. So,
And then the other ones, which I didn't even write, I don't even know the section, what they are, but section I and section J also have to be looked at.
okay. Okay.
So, the way we're gonna leave this this is, I'm just gonna go, I'm
I
gonna
think you should-
consult on a
you
gauge
should
or
write-
whatever, but I'm gonna go ahead and write something and then we'll work off of that. and
Yep.
we pull people together.
Exactly. So now the code that you're working on, I was informed, we have no beaches here. You saw the email, right?
Right.
Okay, so it's under parks, is that right?
Yes,
Okay.
right, so I mean, we have physical beaches with sand, but there's no swimming beaches.
Swimming beaches, right.
So when you go to the, what was the code, I think, for, it says parks and
Parks,
beaches.
it's under parks.
It's under parks, but then there's a section for beaches.
Right.
That's where you should start,
Yep.
okay? Did you have a chance to look at it at all?
I did, I looked
Okay.
at it, and so we're looking at, just restrictions for motor vehicles on the beach,
Okay,
whether people wanna have a party on the beach, is there permitting for that?
okay,
But there's some items out there that we can look at to sort of make the beach more successful.
okay. And we can group that in with the working meetings that we do these, and we'll see how long they go, okay?
Yeah.
So, okay, trustees park, by next meeting, September, can everybody go out and take a look at the tennis courts so we can discuss what to do with them? And we'll have Joe, you can pull the estimates that Ted sent us, okay? And, John, we need to get a price for a new water faucet. The handyman said he'll install it,
Okay,
but it's not gonna make it after this year, it's all rusted out,
okay.
so. And I'm not sure we should even do it now, maybe we'll do it in the
It's
spring.
not the whole faucet,
Yeah,
it's
the
just,
whole water faucet thing, that whole,
it's not even just the hardware
he
inside?
keeps fixing, yeah, he keeps fixing it and fixing it and fixing it, and he
So
finally
you get the
said.
hardware replaced without replacing all the whole cement? I mean, that's cement, isn't it?
No,
That's,
it's just, no,
it's
it's
a-
just,
it's a-
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Metal
yeah.
box.
It's a little box.
Gotcha.
So we're not gonna move it that way, we're gonna kind of
Yeah.
talk about that.
Well,
Just fix it and.
We might not, yeah, we'll do it in the spring, but let's start it, he said he'll do it, he just needs someone to price it out and approve it, and then he can install it. And then the Walnut Beach stuff, we'll just wait until we're doing that, okay? So, Joe, we had bids for, stenograph bids for the ZBA and the planning
Yeah, I
board.
sent these out to everybody.
Okay,
We had two people respond. One is Flynn Stenography and Transcription Services. She is currently doing ZBA and planning hearings for West Hampton Dunes, Village of Greenport, and Southampton. Her time would be appearance fee of $75 per session, which is a 4-hour session, and $5.85 per page of the transcript. And she will give us a hard copy of the transcript as well as an electronic copy via email. The other party that responded to me, which I gave you two, was Verbola.
what was it?
Ebola reporting and transcripts.
Okay.
Hers is $75 per 2-hour meeting and $35 additional. So the other one has 2 hours, the other one has 4 hours. If you're looking at another $70, you
Okay,
get up to a 4-hour
There's one
session.
more page too.
And it's $6.50 per page. Okay, she has done a lot of court reporting, but,
well, I think Flynn is the one that's most known, isn't it? Is that the one Riverhead?
yeah, that's the young lady from Riverhead.
If you have someone that has, if you have a court stenographer, can you supply it yourself, where you don't wanna have to, this is just for
hearings.
Can you supply, for hearings, can you supply your own stenographer? Is that possible? If you don't wanna pay these prices, if you know someone that is a stenographer and they're licensed and.
What we're looking at here is for the ZBA meetings and the planning board hearings,
Okay.
public hearings. I've stenographer, the ZBA has requested a stenographer to be present for every
Okay.
one of their meetings.
Right.
So what we're gonna do in that case would be to just basically put the fee on top of the
Applicants.
variance fee, and the applicant would have to pay the stenography fee.
What if you had someone that had, if they had a stenographer?
We're not gonna get a copy of it then.
Well, you would. I mean, if you had a stenographer, you get a hard copy. I mean, if you can sit there and you're gonna pay somebody, you know, over $150, but they have a family member or a friend stenographer, I mean, is that possible?
I don't think I would require it. I would say, you know, I would wanna be sure that
It wouldn't be
the
the
information that's
official,
gonna be stenographed.
it wouldn't be the official minutes of the board, that's the problem. I mean, people can do that, that's actually often done, that people bring their own stenographer to do it, but you would still be responsible, the person would still be responsible for the cost of the board in doing that. The other thing is, you want to tell whoever ends up getting this, you should tell whoever ends up getting this that you'd like them to break down the pages by the by application versus the normal speaking of the board, so that way they can break it down, so say the meeting starts and the board discusses, it's the minutes from the prior meeting for 15 minutes, and that's 10 pages, and then the hearing starts and it's 20 pages. You don't want the applicant paying for the first 10 pages,
Okay,
because that's really the cost of the village, so they should be able to break that down.
But those are the two proposals that we got on that.
I only know Flynn, I don't know the other one, so. Doesn't really matter. How much notice do they need to appear?
I don't know.
Usually it's the day before, if they have
Okay.
emergency
Yeah.
contacts.
Oh, turnaround times.
Turnaround time is 2 weeks
That's-
from the
that's
date of the
fine.
hearing, yeah.
Okay, does anybody have any objections if we pick Flynn?
Well, we had this about something else, references. I just feel that should be a routine thing. So
Mhm.
just arbitrarily saying one has,
Mhm.
is a little cheaper than the other, we just need to get some references.
Okay.
In the meantime, when we ask for that, we can inform them, because she might change her price. If we're separating them,
Oh,
but I don't think they should.
But we need it for this month though, for the ZBA,
Yeah,
don't
we
we?
should approve it, subject to
The
the
reference check?
references.
Okay.
And, it's not
Yeah.
two, you don't get two different transcripts, but what they'll do if you request them is they'll say, on the first page, they'll break it, they'll give you an index, basically.
Okay.
all right, you wanna get Flynn then in for one shot on the ZBA hearing coming up, the next ZBA?
Well, we wanna get their references and check them, and then we'll approve Flynn based on the references. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah, hearing next week,
No, we'll do the
Higher
resolution
than-
to approve them as long as the references check out.
okay.
Okay. Okay,
Continue.
village construction and computers. Joe, you wanna talk about where you're at with that?
Okay, I had a meeting today with a gentleman that was brought in about
Well, we'll start with village construction. Mike, you got his plan, right? Okay, so.
Got his plan.
Right, so he's gonna put, together a bid sheet,
Mhm.
and then we can bid that out. But we're not sure we can wait to do village hall to get new computers. They're about ready to crash at any second. So we're gonna get rid of the server, correct, Joe?
No, we're gonna just upgrade the server.
Upgrade the server, okay. So these are two prices that we got to redo the computers, which would have to be rewired at some point when we redid Village Hall, but if we wait to redo Village Hall, we may not have computers. And right now, Cindy comes in and puts a computer on, taps on something, makes a cup of tea, could go home and have lunch, and the thing's still going. So it's time.
All right, basically, here again, we have the current company that deals with us, Axe Tech. And they're looking at HP ProDesk 400s, about $700 a piece, 4 units. Memory upgrade on the server, the Samsung server upgrade, Elite display, Seagate, external Windows 10, local file history backup, 1, MS Office 4 for each computer, 1 for each computer, and set up the office, including inspection of hardware, Windows, installation, etc., etc. And the on-site delivery and setup time, $9.50. Okay, Axe is looking for a total of $5,725. The gentleman I spoke to today, and I did not get a written quote from him. He did it off the top of his head based upon his inspection of what we had and what we were looking for. And he was looking at $4,500 just for the equipment and the installation without the other stuff. So I don't know what he's gonna come back with. I don't know whether we should wait for his numbers. You got another meeting in September or what?
Well, when you get his numbers, why don't you email them to
I
everybody?
can email them to
Okay.
everybody, yes.
Okay. We'll table this till September.
You don't
Do you
pay
want
sales,
CAD on there?
you don't pay
No,
sales.
I don't.
On a computer?
Yeah,
I don't know if that's that important,
okay.
because most people will send the,
PDF,
yeah,
okay, okay.
and I can always do it on my computer if I have to open something up. Yeah.
Before, you might not be here when.
Right, that's
we
true,
have to
that's true.
replace it. So we should consider
That's true.
what we need if we're doing it.
Yeah.
So you
I
don't
don't
think,
think
you
you
don't
need-
think CAD's required?
Well, you know, any
Yeah.
computer now will operate CAD software.
Mhm.
You know, a few years back, you just didn't have enough, and you had to get a souped-up unit.
Right.
I don't even know if you need all this stuff. I think some new computers, everything's in the cloud now. Do you need a server? I mean, that's just my opinion.
I'm thinking the same thing, I'm gonna look into it a little bit further, because
It'd be so much
I don't know if
easier
we
just
need
to
a server
get,
anymore.
you know,
It's very
3 or
difficult
4 different computers.
Find computer companies, it's, most of the outfits do not go out and they just supply the equipment.
How about
Like
Stafford?
somebody else would do it.
What about Stafford,
We didn't try them, but we
can
can.
try them, yeah. I can ask that again.
local?
Yeah.
They might not like it because it belongs to them, but I
Great.
didn't. Everybody.
It's a dog-eat-dog world.
Right, right.
So I'll table that for September, but we'll do more research and see what we can find out.
Right, yes, I've got the one guy coming back to me, he'll get that out to me as soon as I can. And that'll be basically all the numbers that we should be needing, and we'll put a call out to staff and take a look.
On this quote, do you know how do you get from the left-hand column to the right-hand column? How does
Yeah,
that coordinate?
Because the one on, all the way on the right in the black, see it says
That's the
4,
number.
1,
Oh,
1.
that's what it is.
It's just the way printed,
Sorry.
yeah. Okay, final.
Number of units is on the right,
okay.
far right.
Joe, do you have anything for the board?
We have the ZBA case, litigation with Ashley Holmes is still pending. The village
It
made,
is, okay.
the village made a motion to dismiss, it's now returnable on August 30th. We're waiting for Ashley Holmes to respond to the motion to dismiss, and then we'll get a chance to respond to whatever response they have. We have some properties that will be, in the court, we had a number of people that completed community service over the early part of the summer. I think that's over with, there may still be one person, but I think that
No, I think everybody finished.
everybody finished.
Mhm.
We'll be moving through a couple cases, there's a couple enforcement cases that public safety has been working on that will be, I think they all have remedy orders, and now we're in the process of bringing them into court, basically, so that I don't know what calendar the judge will put them on, but
Okay.
I'll let you know.
All right, I asked Christine for the court calendar for this month, so
Okay.
we should probably have it by the end of the week, I would think.
Yeah, it was kind of sparse at the last court, there was just one parking ticket that appeared, so there wasn't much going on. I don't know what the next calendar will look like.
Okay. So we also got the bills for
Yeah,
the.
we should, excuse me, we should probably look at FBS. A lot of these tickets are going to FBS, we should probably ask them for
What is that?
reports.
FBS.
FBS is the collection service that
Oh,
collects the parking tickets, basically. So the minor code and the parking tickets, so we should probably ask them for quarterly reports for this board to look at if we're not getting them already.
Okay.
I haven't heard anybody mention that, so I'll just mention that they'll actually do it monthly. It probably wouldn't be worthwhile to do it monthly, probably quarterly, I would ask for them, just so you can see what's going on. Because Christine's pretty good about that, and the people that don't appear for parking tickets, which is probably 50% or more of them, are supposed to end up with judgments against them, and I'm not sure what the collection rate is, but
Okay.
I'm sure she would be, FBS would be happy to report it.
Okay.
Or
And I'm sure she's
FBS
already
will
doing,
say-
I'm sure she's already doing that for Port Jack, right? Okay. You don't
Yeah,
know?
they probably get weekly reports or monthly reports at least.
Yeah, because they report twice a month, they have hundreds of tickets in there, so,
Yeah.
okay.
If they don't pay, does it go to New York State? Does it go on their record?
It's supposed to go to a judgment, so it goes on, the record with the county, so it would show up.
Right,
It's a
but when
public
they,
record.
when they go to re-register, it doesn't show
No, it
up.
doesn't show up, we're not in the vehicle and traffic system,
Yeah.
because it's not vehicle and traffic,
Right.
we're not coordinating with
It's
that
not,
now.
okay.
Anything else?
I think that's it unless you have a question for me.
Nope, I have the legal bills for the lawsuit of Debbie Stevens versus the Village of Poquott. The legal bills came to $17,641.83. I estimate the clerk spent about 12 hours, which was $300. I didn't include any time that I spent on it. Total for this lawsuit was $17,941.83.
That was outside counsel, wasn't it?
Yeah. I just got the email bill today, but the hard copy will be in the mail to you and me. Yeah.
Why did we?
And that's without even going to court. If we'd gone to court, it would have been much higher.
Why did we need multiple counsel on that?
Why, there was a potential conflict for me, and we wanted to, I think we wanted to hire I needed to represent the village, and there was a reason at the time, I'm sorry, I apologize, there was but I think it had to do with a potential conflict.
See, all right, I just want to clear the table. You know, we had our appointments last week, and you know, I gave you a nay. I asked you just for one simple thing, was just to see from Nikon their response. You know, you explained to me that they're just an opinion. You know, I have my response from Nikon right here that says that was what we were going through, that things go on. So I was just trying to clarify, and then I asked you again, and you still haven't sent it to me.
I don't know, honestly, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, it's in an email, I carbon copied it. I just want to see where the conflict arise. Was it from Nikon, or was it, do you know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying, well, I'm still asking for the information. Mine's right here from what Nikon gave, Mike Schaefer got it for me, because I wasn't, you know, Nikon didn't know I existed, and I had no access to it to find out.
What are you talking about?
I'm
The
talking
reason
about,
he wasn't,
I wasn't capable,
sworn in.
I wasn't sworn in, and all that was going on, so
But
I
what's your
just,
question? I'm not saying, what were you asking Nikon?
I was trying to find out why I couldn't be sworn in. And there was just, all it was is, well, just by legal advice. Okay, well, let me see what Nikon said to you so I can find out what's going on here. So we have, mine's right here. It's pretty much says that, my response from Nikon. That's why I was upset. Okay, look, can I just see what Nikon said to you so we can figure out where this conflict lies? Because they're saying everything can go forward. And you're saying no, they're saying we shouldn't. I said, okay, well, we're still
Well, that was the decision that we made with outside counsel.
Okay, but now we kept on getting outside counsel. How do
Yeah, so one of the things that you should be, it's good that you're calling Nikon, and they're
They didn't
a,
want to speak to me because I wasn't, you know, because everything came to a stalemate.
well, now they're speaking to you, right?
Yeah, now they are, but this was
Okay.
going on, so I couldn't. But I mean, as it was, I was an elected official.
Well, let's
as
talk
it
at
was-
one thing at it, let
Right,
me
that's
just
fine.
finish what I wanted to say.
I just wanted to see where my point was, and I tried to ask this information. You still haven't given it to me. I emailed you twice.
But you keep asking me that, and I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't even,
I don't know what you're talking about.
once you find out the basis of the advice from the attorney that the village made a decision not to install him.
Right.
It was stated that under legal advice, we've made this
we
decision.
were in a lawsuit.
We were
Well,
talking-
you're right, he's asking for it.
Okay.
we
Well,
were-
that's the
we
answer. We're in a
advised-
lawsuit.
No, we were.
That's what the
we were
attorney
advised
said.
that in a
But
contested-
you didn't
$17,000
was
is
it
no lawsuit.
Nikon that was you
Yeah,
saying from
pretty much.
Nikon that we was
And
advised
won,
that we
and
should.
won the case.
The law, it has to do with the language of the law.